Well, I did my usual thing. Well, I like to break things, so I did all the things you're not supposed to do. Well, I tried to. And I tried to find any little parts that don't work quite right. And I was finally able to escape the box that you're in when you're at Lorville. When you're at Lorville, you have the residence number 19. You can go through there. You can go to the metro area. Then you can go to where obviously the metro leads to the trains. Then you can go to the other side, which has a few shops. A noodle shop where a guy completely ignores you the entire time. And there's a bar where you can go get a lopsided shot of whiskey. Well, yeah, and I did find one area where you can escape out of the box. You have to climb up something, jump over something, and then crawl into the abyss. And then once you do that, you're outside the box. You can go pretty much anywhere as long as you don't die or fall through the planet like I did a few times. So what winds up happening is you run through some areas and it'll drop down. The ground won't look like the ground is right under your feet either, because it's all just the actual collision boxes are in different spots than the actual textures. So you'll be up here, the textures look like they're here, but then you'll find that there's no walls that are real, so you can just run through the walls. And it took me 40 minutes to run from Lorville's central area all the way over to the big building that looks like the Tyrell Corporation had a baby or something, and with I don't know, Ed 209, the big triangle building. That's just the thing that you notice as soon as you come to Lorville. I finally made it over to there, and it took me a long time, 40, 50 minutes probably. And by the time I got there, it was just like all the other buildings. There was nothing to it. It's all hollow. It's all just visual effects. But whether they'll actually adapt some of those areas or not, who's to say? We can't say, it's too early for that. But what I do know is all those buildings, I really wanted to get to that Times Square type of area. I wanted to see the city lights, and I did. But the problem is you have to run through lots of buildings, and you can't tell where you are because you're inside of these texture boxes, and you keep running. And then there's these surfaces that look like they're water, because they were going beneath a certain point, but the texture didn't really respond correctly, and I was afraid to fall through the ground like I did previously. But in my quest, I was fully able to just run the course until I finally hit a wall all the way on the edge past the Tyrell type building from Blade Runner, and I just killed myself because I'm not going to walk 40 minutes back just to get to where I was. And yeah, that was something amazing. Other adventures, I did finally decide to go to Crusader. My initial attempt to go to Crusader, I crash landed, and I tried it a second time, and that another 30-minute flight just trying to get to it. And when I did get to it, that time I eased up, and even when I eased up, I still crashed right into the ground, blew up, and died. This time, I don't know if they changed things, but you can fly through the planet now. I didn't try and do it at full speed, but what I did find is when you get to it, you can hover right over it, jump out of your ship. You can't land on it, but you can cross the barrier of the clouds, and it's full of stars. Well, not really. It's just, there's no inside texture, so it's just as soon as it disappears. But you can literally jump through Crusader. If you're right at the surface of Crusader, you can pass right into it and jump right through it to a different com point or whatever. So that's something interesting to be experienced. Things that you don't really want to waste the time doing, but might enjoy just seeing that it actually. But you might just enjoy seeing that it actually is that way via YouTube. And outside of that, what other interesting things have I done? Not a whole lot.